It's one Nate Dog 24 here, and I'm going to tell you guys how to give your longboard a full clean. So first things first, what you're going to need is one dirty longboard. See the grip tape there, pretty gross. The wheels and the bearings, pretty shitty looking. So you're going to need a bucket of water, paper towels, some carburetor cleaner or degreaser, water, can of compressed air. What do we got here? A 1/4 by 6 inch bolt with a 1/4 inch washer and nut, 1/4 inch O-rings, empty water bottle, bearing lube, a 1/4 inch wing nut, a razor blade, gum erasers, and a brush, some brass bristle brushes, and a truck tool. The first wheel here, with my truck tool here, as you can see inside of there, that is pretty damn gross. There's all sorts of dirt and stuff on the inside of the bearings. And now I'm going to show you how to take off the bearings using the board itself. You're going to take the wheel and one side of the bearings, and you're going to place it so that it's just out there on the outer edge. And you're going to push really hard while leaning on the board here. That way it doesn't fly off. You can try pulling or pushing. Oh, that didn't work. But it shouldn't break the bearing. There we go. It just pops out real nicely. You don't want to ever lose your bearings, so I'm just going to put mine here in a bucket. You're going to want to do that for every wheel and for every bearing. And nuts and the wheels are off. You're going to let the wheels sit in a nice bucket of hot water there. And then once they've sat in there for a while, I'm going to wipe them down to get out all that extra gross dirt. Now we're going to do the most important part and the most presentable part, the showmanship. We're going to clean this dirty deck. I definitely rode it in the rain a couple times, so we're going to try and get out all this dirt as much as possible and bring it back to life the way it was. So what we're going to do here is we're going to first use a little bit of water, and a brass bristle brush. They're strong enough to get out all the big things of dirt deep down within the grip tape, and yet weak enough so that it doesn't damage the grip tape itself. First, you're going to take your brass bristle brush, and you're going to lightly dab it there in a little cap full of water, just so it's a little bit moist. You're going to go in circles. And look, you can already start to see how it's working. Small circles here around the deck, and then what you're going to do is you're going to get a towel. That was the other thing you're going to need. And you use your cotton towel, and you're going to dab up the wetness here at the end. That way the gummy eraser will really work. A reminder that you guys need to keep remembering is you lightly scrub in circles. Lightly scrub in circles here with the brush here, because we're not trying to grind out the dirt, we're just trying to lift it to the surface here. That way we can pick it up with the towel that comes around. So just trying to get this one spot here. Yeah, so lightly in small circles, and then dab with the towel, and look how much nicer that area looks. So, I'm pretty sure you guys can clearly see the difference. Obviously there's a little bit of residues left from some dirt here on the front end of the board, but don't worry, that's what the gum eraser is for. Halfway done, I gotta get the tail end. Okay, so I'm now done scrubbing, lifting out as much dirt as I can. Looks much nicer. Yeah, sorry guys. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna give those wheels that have been drying, we're going to flip them over, but first I'm going to let this sit out in the sun and dry a little bit more. For the next part, where take the gummy eraser, and you need the deck and the grip tape to be dry, because otherwise the gum eraser just slides right over it. But that looks much nicer. Like, you can see the detail here in the graphic. You can even see the white clouds in the background and the crest of the wave there. So that's good. So here what we're going to do is we're going to dip them in the bucket and I'm just going to rinse them off with a towel and let them back out to dry. Okay, so now we're going to do one of the more technical parts here and one of the more important parts. So this part you're going to need a razor blade and the bearings themselves. I have Red's bearings, one thing you're going to want to know is you're going to take off the red side here, the shield, plastic shield here, not this gray side. Red, not gray. Okay? And so what you're going to do here is you're going to slide the razor blade. Kids, make sure you have parents' permission or at least some assistance. You're going to slide the razor blade underneath the plastic shield here. And you're just going to try and pop it out. It is plastic, so try not to cut it because it's supposed to shield out all the dirt and grime. But it's a little tricky. And yeah, so I'll show you one. Yeah, so this is the process. You're just gonna take this, pry it under here, pull them out. As you can see, a little bit of wear and tear. Not too bad though. Focus. But yeah, so no major damage. Easy process. So this is what it should look like. You should have about a bearing in between each spacer. And I personally have bearings in between, or a spacer in between the bolt at the nut at the top and the wing nut, just because I don't want the metal on metal banging around on each other. So let's check on our bottle, see how that's evaporated or not. Yeah, we'll call it good. All it is now is just condensation in there. So what we're gonna do. We're going to add our reagent. Pretty much now any degreaser will work. I've heard anything from citrus cleaners, gas, pretty much anything that's just a degreaser. I am personally going to try out one called Grease Lightning Super Strength cleaner and degreaser. Because A, it was cheap, I could buy it in this giant jug, and it cleans all sorts of stuff from your tools into greasy mowers, so I figured bearings would be a good fit. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to fill this up, not all the way, and you don't even need to go, probably just a little bit, yeah, right about there actually, just so that it touches like the bottom of the bearings here. So we're just gonna put this down in here, give it a nice little dunk. Oh, perfect. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna stir this around for a good couple minutes, shake it up, and then let it sit. Let it settle back out. And it doesn't matter how you put the bearings on, just as long as they're all on there nice and good. Okay, so I have a little bit of a Grease Lightning here on this paper towel, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wipe down each side of the shield to get off all the gunk and nastiness. In order to help let everything ride smoothly. Yeah, so that's that. Okay, so I've shaken this thing pretty good. I don't know if you guys can see the gunk. It used to be perfectly clear, but there's definitely a lot of shit there sitting at the bottom. So now it's time to pull it out. Undo the cap here. And let's see what we got. Oh, lots of bubbles. So, you want to dry that off here with the paper towel. And run it back and forth a couple times. Too much stuff here. So then you're going to undo the wing nut here at the bottom. So then take off a spacer. Put the bearing over here onto the other side. Take out the spacer, move the bearing to sit, Now, gonna check the bearings and the shields. I'll let these guys dry in the sun as well. So, here they are, bearings and shields, all 8 of them. As you can see, the bearings are already looking super shiny. So we'll let them dry and then we'll lube them up and put them back together. Okay, so now that our deck is dry, we're going to use this, the secret weapon. It's called a gum eraser. You can get it at your local art store. So this was like about $1. I know, kind of like a little expensive for such a tiny thing, but they're really helpful. And what they're used for, I don't know, art relatively, but I know in hardware stores you could find it like as a rubber stick. So what they do is they help get out the dirt that's at the surface. I know like they use them on sanders and stuff like that just because of their shape and whatnot. But yeah, these are really effective just to pick out those fine areas. Yeah, they're perfect. From a distance too to make sure that and hold the can upright so that nothing gets in the bearings. Okay, so air dried our bearings. Now for the fun part. Time to lube them up. So because I have Bones bearings, I figured why not use Bones Speed Cream lubrication for them. So after reading the instructions, because I don't want to mess this up, what you're going to do is you're going to drop a drop on each side of the bearing. One there, and one over here. Then what you're going to do is you're going to give it a nice good spin to make sure that it's evenly coated throughout the bearing. Once you give them a good spin, you're also going to want to snap the shields back onto the bearings themselves.